Hi art students, it's Mrs. Chenoweth, and I'm going to share with you a grid method for taking your photograph that you want to do for your portrait and enlarging that using this grid system. So this is going to be step one. Here we go. Alright, so here's the first step. You want to have your photograph, and it should be about 4 by 6 inches. Okay, we're going to enlarge this to a 9 by 12 sheet of paper, so it can't be larger than 6 inches and 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide this into 1/2 inch. So you will need a ruler for this and a pencil. I'm going to be using a pen just for the demonstration so that you can see it better. So you can see I have a 6-inch photograph this direction and then 4 inches this way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark at every 1/2 inch. I'm going to put a little tiny mark right here at each 1/2 inch mark. And if it's 6 inches, I will wind up with 12 marks when I'm all finished. Okay, I also have to mark at the bottom so that I can draw a nice straight line. So I'm not just going to draw randomly here to the bottom and think that I'm going to get it right. I'm definitely going to go ahead and mark each one of those 1/2 inches again at the bottom so I can then draw that grid. So I have nice parallel lines and they don't go diagonal and act really wonky, crazy. Alright, so there I've got my lines now at the bottom. While I'm in the measuring mode, I'm just going to continue with those 1/2 inch marks. Okay. And this one is 4 inches, so I will have 8 marks when I'm all finished. So I'm dividing it into 8 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one is 12. Again, I'm going to go, see I went here at the bottom, now I'm going to go here at the top, do the same thing, repeat that same step. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so you should know by now that a 1/2 inch is right in between the one and the beginning. Okay, so it's the midway point between each of the numbers on your ruler. So just be aware of that. All right, and then the fun part, then I'm going to go and line them up really nice and just scribe each one of those lines. It's okay if your line goes beyond the picture, no harm done. And this is really a great method if you are a beginning drawer. Sometimes if I was not a beginning drawer, I may draw less grid blocks, but this is really great if you don't have a lot of confidence because what this is doing, okay, so we have 12 times 8 is, let's see, let me do the math, 96. What I'm doing is dividing this into this photograph. When I go to draw it, I'll have 96 tiny, small drawings that I'll be doing instead of one large, very detailed drawing. Some of the boxes won't have much drawing in them at all because you can kind of see, like here in the background, there's hardly any information there at all. So it sounds like a lot, but really not. And then in these areas, like in the face, for example, it'll be a lot easier to draw just half of the mouth and a small portion of the nose compared to having to think about the whole entire face at one time. So it really is a very successful method if you're not the most confident drawer. Even if you tell me, hey, Miss Chenoweth, I told you I can't draw, you can still do this. Kind of like riding a bike. This is kind of like a bike with training wheels. Some folks are ready to just take off and ride the bike, but some folks need those training wheels, and nothing wrong with that. Start where you're ready. All right, so now I've got all of these little boxes, making this drawing a little easier to get started on. All right, stay tuned for the next step.